we recognize that in addressing divisions and hatred and how do you overcome that, that suddenly we find ourselves in a similar situation again in America. And since filming, people becoming much more comfortable with expressing hatred and racism.
I don't know how you've done all these years. Seeing all the things you've seen, doing all the things you've done, makes you feel inhuman after a while.
Captain, you do know Chief Yellowhawk. The Army wants to be certain that the Chief gets home to Montana safely without incident.
I don't have any idea what he's done. He's a butcher.
And the two of you ought to get along just fine.
I've killed savages because that's my job. You have no idea what war does to a man. I hate him. I got a war bag of reasons to hate him.
This will be done, and it will be done by you.
If the raid's over, put him in chains.
TV. Anytime you're ready. Christian, you are one of this era's greatest actors.
Oh, thank you very much, man.
And I'm always, what made me more curious about the movie to begin with was like, oh, Christian's taking on another character. What is he gonna do with this character? When I look at what you did with The Fighter and American Hustle and all these other great characters, my first question is, what did you have to do to embody this character? Because it seems like you do a deep dive to become.
Well, look, I always want to do that. It's not just a job. I'm very bloody lucky to get to do what I do, and you should work to do that. And you get some films where, like you said, you dive in, but then you realize, yeah, it's not working, is it? It's not going to happen. It's always a team effort, and sometimes it's just not happening. And the films that you mentioned, it all happened. It worked, and you can feel it as it's happening. And the same thing I felt with this. I've been making films for 3 decades now. This is one of the films I'm absolutely most proud of in terms of the process of making the film and in the result as well. So diving in this involved embracing the mindset of a man who's in complete isolation, who is filled with bigotry and is filled with hatred, who has seen horrific deaths of his friends and brothers in arms. But we're not making your mum and pop's Western. We're not doing a black hat and a white hat. At the same time that he has this intense hatred, there's respect. It's possible for that to happen. And he respects Yellowhawk, Wes Studi's character, the Cheyenne character. He respects because he knows that if he was in his shoes, he would behave exactly the same way. And he respects enough that he knows the language, he knows the way of life as well. But there's frustration, there's rage, and that hatred is absolutely genuine. And he is threatened under a court-martial to transport his nemesis to sacred burial grounds. And so what you have is the beginning of a journey of how do you turn off hatred? How do you turn off fighting without feeling like you are rendering the deaths of your loved ones and your friends meaningless?
On my one then. On my one then!
No, so
it's an incredible journey, and I hope that we're showing it in a far more authentic way with this. And really sadly, we recognize that in addressing divisions and hatred and how do you overcome that, that suddenly we find ourselves in a similar situation again in America. And since filming, people becoming much more comfortable with expressing hatred and racism. And we've been here before, and to repeat the same mistakes of history is total insanity. We're better than that, you know. Everybody deserves better. Let's not go down that same path again. You know, we should have learned our lesson. But it's, I believe that we should maintain and be hopeful about it as well. And I think that the ideal is that we will start, just talking in terms of the film world, start to see so much richer library of stories when it ceases to be just white dudes running the show, you know. Their stories deserve to be told too, but everybody's story should be told. And the same deal with politics, you know. We got to see the end of this. It's way past due, you know. America is a melting pot. People are questioning who we are and our ideology. It's always been clear who we are. Let's not pretend. It's a melting pot, you know, and it welcomes immigrants, and we should be welcoming to refugees as well. And it's crazy that people are trying to change history and change the intent.
Maybe we could all have an awakening like your character, Blocker, did in this movie.
It's needed. Great. It's needed again, isn't it? Yeah. Right.
Great job.
All right, man. Thank you.
Kidder. Yes, sir. Unchain him.